guys, know that they fly, know that they ride or die. I keep boys by my side, CJ Ike, now I gotta roll with ice. All these brothers, my guys, know that they fly, know that they ride or die. I keep boys by my side, CJ Ike, now I gotta roll with ice.
What's up, guys? It's Paul with Spheric Reptiles, and I thank you so much for tuning in. This video is just going to be about something sweet. I mean, we all like sweets, right? Even though our doctor, as we get older, will say, hey, cut back on the sweets or the drinking, which is the same thing. Alcohol and sugars, they're the same things, right? So I'm always encouraging people to think outside of the box. And I also want you to be positive about this whole reptile experience that you have. Because remember, time is our most valuable asset. So what you choose to do with it means more than anything else, especially when people are trying to determine what you're about, right? So if you donate your time to other people and you care about other people or other living things, typically you should be a good person, right? Not all the time, but typically. Before we get into the other stuff, I encourage you to read Blue Ocean Strategies, Timothy Ferriss's The 4-Hour Work Week, learn the 80-20 rule or the Pareto principle, and also read about the E-Myth. I encourage you to read these books if you're thinking about doing anything in business, but in particular in the reptile industry. And the reason I say that is because the reptile industry is made up of a bunch of hobbyists with no real professional experience. Those that get professional advice or experience, they typically do well, but that's the case in anything where someone does more research than on the actual products themselves. Yeah, I don't want you to work inside of your reptile business. I want you to become an employee of your reptile business. So create a plan and work it that way. So write out an operations manual for yourself and then put yourself in there so as you get bigger, you don't have to worry about telling someone else what to do because you have an operations manual. But anyway, I know that's not why you didn't tune into this, right? You didn't tune in to get lectured on how to start a business or be business minded, even though you should be if you're in this industry, right? I mean, you spend your money on something, whether you want a return or not, you just don't want to waste money. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to start out with something sweet, guys. So something sweet. Calico and sugar. They are by far some of the most underrated incomplete dominant morphs, even though they're the same, in the ball python market. And I think that's more in part due to the larger players. So as I give a shout out to Canova, and I definitely I'm trying to follow a little bit of their business model. But I noticed that, like, when I look at Yellow Belly and I look at Lace, they're not as profound as Calico or Sugar, right? So if I want something with some extreme blushing, Calico and Sugar would give me that more than Yellow Belly or Lace, especially if you mix it in with acid or confusion or something like that, or, you know. But anyway, that's my opinion. But I really feel like the Sugar and Calico gene is very, very, like, it's nice. It's very nice. As I hear some rustling going on over here with my clown pied and my lesser bongo, it's just crazy, man, when the female starts wagging her tail and everything. But anyway, before I go on, so Calico and Sugar are not different, but they were discovered at different times. And this is Sugar, our pastel calico girl. That's how we bought her from Aquatics Exotics. And you can see how pretty she is. She's over 1,000 grams. She's actually about 1,100 grams now, so she's getting there. A little bit about the Calico gene. The Calico gene was started by Ralph Davis in California in 1999. So he first came out with this morph, or identified this morph, and you can see just the blushings that's on the side, how white it is through the alien heads. And that's really indicative of the Calico or Sugar gene. Very beautiful snake. And one of the things that drew me into this is not only is it on the sides, it actually goes up through the top of the dorsal pattern as well. It kind of spaces out the alien head so you don't have the defined keyholes. I don't know if that's a sugaring or calico effect. That's what we have here. Is this is Sugar, our pastel calico girl, and I'm going to stick with the name that was given to me when I bought her. So even though I feel like Sugar and Calico are the same, I'm going to call her what she was sold to me as, and that is a pastel calico. So just get another good look, guys, of how she looks. And I'll try to turn her. She just ate like 3 days ago, so I'm trying to keep her mid-body around the same. So just hold on 1 second and I will get the next example that we have. This is Boo, our bamboo Enie calico, or actually our bamboo Enie sugar ball python. And there's a lot of things going on here. It's almost all white, but you got to remember that bamboo is part of the blue-eyed leucistic complex, so you're going to have more white in the pattern anyway. But if you combine that with Enie, so if you can get a good look at that right there, you see the Enie, how it draws the pattern up to the dorsal pattern. So it draws it all up to the top. Enie is really good at doing that. So is leopard, but leopard would have the spots on the side. But the calico in itself, you can see that she's almost all white on the sides. The alien heads have almost been completely eliminated. And that's more in part to being bamboo and Enie and sugar all in one. So this is one of the most unique looking snakes. If you have a bamboo of any sort, they're just really unique looking. I don't think there's another ball python morph other than the monsoon that is this dominant, or maybe the sunset as well, that's this dominant. As far as just easily identified. Of course, we know clown, but clown, you know, is something that I think is going to be a staple moving forward. But if we look at non-recessive clown animals, the bamboo has a defined pattern. But if you look at the sugar, you can see it's almost all white belly. And that's one of the things that I noticed about sugar as opposed to lace or yellow belly. Some of those will still have some speckling on the underside of the belly. But if you notice here, she's almost all white. And when you look at her when she was a baby, she had a lot of patterns right here, like a lot of the alien head patterns there. Even though there were no keyholes in there, it was still there. The pattern was there. But now as she gets older, it just rises more and more to the top. We don't know what we're going to breed her with. I kind of want to just make the same snake. I mean, because she is just really, it's just fascinating to me how the pattern is just evolving as she gets older. And she's not even but 2 years old, barely. Of course, we don't power feed. She went off feed for like 2 months, but you know, she's just really inching along. Right now, she's a little bit over 1,000 grams. So, you know, she needs to go through another phase change so her head can get a little bit bigger, and then hopefully we'll see what we can do. But sugar gene was discovered by Troy Adams of Adams Balls in 2003. So that's 4 years after Ralph Davis discovered the calico gene. And I'm not sure if Troy Adams is still around or not, but I do thank him for discovering that, because what it allowed people to do with genetic testing was to see if those genes represented the same spot on that allele for that gene. So, and it does. So, you know, this is just one of the key things that I'm just trying to show in this video, is how beautiful these snakes are with the calico gene, just in having 2 copies or a copy from each parent for the sugar gene or the calico gene, and B, just how much you can do with them. They're just really pretty. I mean, I don't know if you can get a close-up of her head right there, but just really a good-looking snake. And, man, it just really shows the amount of diversity you can come up with in helping the animals to create, you know, one of 5,000 or 3,500 to 5,000 different pattern morphs for ball pythons. So this is just really cool, and I just wanted to share this video with you. You know, hey, create your own way. Those books that I told you, they encourage you to read. The books that I told you to read encourage you to think outside of the box, just like you should be thinking outside of the box if you're considering trying to pair these animals up to help them to create a different animal. So if nothing else, guys, I thank you for tuning in. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Let me know what you think about this video. And if nothing else, enjoy the time that you spend with your reptiles and enjoy the time that you have with your family. All right, guys. Thank you.
die.